този въпрос. Европа на две скорости. Искаме ли в Европа да имаме едни медии, които да се развиват по всички принципи на свободата и независимостта на пресата и други части от континента, като да речем Италия, като да речем дори Великобритания, защо не, като пример Румъния и дори България, които да се развиват по други правила. От този пример арабските държави също биха могли да се възползват. От начина, по който може да се създаде при вас още по-лесно. Вие говорите един език, представете си, ние сме малка територия, но всички с различни езици, различни културни среди, за религия не говоря. Представете си, ако всичките тези арабски държави, връщам се отново на идеята за панарабски медии, се замислят за възможността за създаването на един надарабски регулаторен орган, който да следи за съотношението на собственици и редакция, редакционна независимост говоря, качествена журналистика говоря, образование на журналисти, насърчаване на разследвания в различни сфери. Давам си сметка, че това, което говорим, е толкова музика от бъдещето, колкото и звучи нереалистично. Обаче това трябва да бъдат целите.
Тук да се повдига и още един въпрос във връзка с ролята на социалните медии, които, както стана ясно, може би са проводники на поляризацията в някаква степен. Не веднъж и два пъти сме чували въпроса, трябва ли да има регулация в интернет?
Трябва да си кажем направо, че ако интернет пространството, и вие дадахте конкретния пример за това как с свободата, която интернет дава, може да бъде злоупотребено, може да бъде спекулирано. Ако оставим интернет да се развива отново по закона на джунглата, ние рискуваме публиката да загуби ориентация или да се конфронтира и да бъде поставена под влияние на други групи, било то религиозни, екстремистки, политически интереси, икономически интереси, без да е ясна техния източник на средства, тяхната цел. Тяхната цел естествено е само една, а не да се създава едно хармонично общество, което да може да живее балансирано заедно, в което да се респектира свободата на словото, толерантността, защото това са също едни важни теми, които са важни и за вас, така както и за нас. Всичкото това, както казвам отново, трябва да бъде поставено на една обща основа. В Европа има различни примери, за съжаление. Европа също се конфронтира сега в момента с въпроса какъв начин интернет, който се развива толкова бързо, а ние толкова изоставаме с въпроса как ще го контролираме, как ще го наблюдаваме, по какъв начин може да се прави. В Европа няма единна позиция по въпроса за момента, но се работи в тази посока.
I would like to pass now on Poland, our speaker from Poland, for really he's an author and journalist, and it would be interesting to see how Igor Janke sees the transformation. We went through a huge transformation, a process that is not over yet in Eastern and Central Europe. And when these processes started, we didn't have social media. We had a very well illustration made, Remzi, about the transition from censorship to auto-censorship and things like that. How did this transformation went through in Poland?
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me. Well, answering your question, I must say, it's not the media who makes the revolution, it's people. It's people's will, their dreams, their desire of liberty and better life. It's not the media. And media is just a tool. And in the 80, in the August, in the September of 80, when the revolution, 1980, when the revolution started in Poland, there was no Twitter, there was no Facebook, there was no cell phones. And the traditional phones were of a very poor quality and very limited. So there was no communication. And at that time in Poland, even the underground newspaper market was not that developed as it was, as it happened later. But we did it. I don't want to say that media are not important. They are of great importance, and they are more important than guns. But first must be the will, and first must be desire of freedom and democracy. I'm working now on a book on one radical anti-regime, anti-communist organization, which is called Solidarność Walcząca, Fighting Solidarity. That was the radical splinter of the group of the Solidarity in the 80s. They were active in the 80s. They were very radical. They organized lots of demonstrations during the 80s. They wanted to topple communism, but not many people know that the most important thing for them was to be able to print something. Maybe not many of you know that in the 80s in Poland, there was no, of course, freedom of speech. There was no independent press. It was forbidden to print anything, and the Secret Service was very strong. And at that time, we had almost 1,000 independent underground newspapers, 1,000 titles all over Poland. They were printed in attics, in basements, some in the gardens, in different places. This organization, in Solidarity, if you wanted to be a member, active member of Fighting Solidarity, there was one condition: you have to be able to print. You have to be able to print and to distribute. You have to learn how to do it, and you have to be able also to teach others how to do it. And they had like a few thousand people. Some people claim that there was even 20,000 of them. So they had like 20,000 publishing houses, underground publishing houses. And that helps us to survive the 80s in Poland, the communications, because they understood that the communication is a crucial tool. And it is without it, it will be very difficult to provide the fights during 8 years, because it has taken from 81 till 89. We lived under the regime, first under the martial law, and then there was no martial law, but there was also a regime. But we survived, and we were ready to reborn again in 88, 89, because of, I think mainly because of the independent media. So media are crucial. We succeeded, but one problem is how important are media, or how you use media during the revolution, and the other, how do you use media in the democracy, to build a democracy and to sustain democracy. And I may say it was easier in the time of communism, because everything was clear, and that was a tool for fight. And now to build a media, real independent media, which really play the role of the fourth power, which are checking governments. It's much more difficult, because if you want to build such a media, if you want to, like you had in the United States or Britain or in the Western countries for years, you must have responsible professional editors. You must have investigative journalists. You have to be unbiased. You have not be engaged in political fight. You have to be professional, well-educated, and independent. And tell me if it's a case of Central European media. Even in Poland, which are sometimes perceived as a leader of the transformation, it's not the case of Poland, especially now. If you want to build an independent media, which helps to build a democracy, first of all, you have to build an independent business, because the crucial question is who pays you. Yeah? As you said in Albania, you never know who pays for what, and here in Bulgaria, you know who pays for half of media market, and it's not a nice message. You can build an independent media if you have independent source of income, if our readers who are paying for that, and various advertisers coming from different circles, not just one. And if you have just the state or political power or one businessman who is involved in the politics, this situation becomes very, very dangerous. And if you have public television, which is completely dependent on political scene, no matter what rules you impose. We have very good rule in Poland. We have our bill is very good. We have a council like yours. Most of the members of such a bodies in Poland are hired by politicians. However, it's built. If you read the bill, it's wonderful. It's like in France. It's like in Germany. It's much better than it looks much better than in England. But in England, there's this the government who appoints the chief of BBC. In Poland, it's not that. it's the special counsel, blah, blah, blah. But in fact, they are politicians. And public television in Poland during the last 20 years was always a tool of propaganda of various governments. And I'm afraid the same is happening not only in Poland. In the first decade of Polish transformation, the 90s, the situation was not that bad. There was a lot of enthusiasm as everywhere. We were building new newspapers, new radio stations, and the political conflicts was not that tense. We also didn't understand many processes which were going on. But when the real conflicts, political conflicts, and the real deep political split came, then media became very engaged in the politics. And this is the worst scenario which may happen. Media becoming political players. Media involved in the political fight. For media owners, sometimes it's a very comfortable situation because it's much easier to be involved in the politics because it arises emotions, and media needs emotions. You know, so media needs strong fight, strong opinion. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to write an emotional article than in-depth analysis. It's much cheaper to invite two cockfighters to the TV studio than to make a real in-depth analysis of the shale gas issue or security or education or any issue. It costs much more because you have to employ real experts, you have to have researchers, you need the time. And to invite politician A and politician B just to fight, it costs like nothing. You have the show. It's cheap. You can employ 25 years young lady who just asks, what do you think, and what do you think, and why, blah, 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 blah. Nothing, and it is, yeah. And this is nothing personal. Young boy, the same. It happens in Polish media, especially in the electronic media. And what's the result? And at the same time, the crisis came. Yeah, so the media has less and less money. So they cut costs. So it's much easier to make this just political shows. If you turn on Polish television, no matter which one, you have just cockfighters. And it doesn't say anything. It doesn't explain the reality to the viewers and newspapers to the readers. The media are more and more focused on infotainment. They are becoming more like tabloids-like. And what's the result? The result is that it's a very comfortable situation for politicians. They love the situation because they love to be in a fight. Because it's much easier to come if they know that they come to the studio, they have the other guy, the bad guy on the other side. They just have to kick each other. They don't have to answer the question why you did not implement the new new bill concerning shale gas, or why you buy this helicopter or not that tank for the Polish army. It's much easier to, and 95% of discussion in Polish TV are about bullshit things. And it's allowed politicians not to do anything. Last 7 years, or last even 10 years, nothing important happened in Polish politics. No reforms were introduced. No deep reforms were introduced. And the results you will see, we are seeing now. We are not a leader anymore. Why? Because nobody made the pressure on politicians. They could do whatever they wanted because journalists were just interested in the fight. And I don't have any good message for you. It won't be better. It will be worse. Because we have another revolution, the technology revolution, which has changed completely the business model of traditional media. So the Western world was built on the Western democracy. In the world, it was built in times when it was worth to build an independent newspaper. It was a good business to build a New York Times or Washington Post or something, or independent television. It was good business to be independent and to be professional. Now, because of internet and because of the Google, the business model has changed, and the source of income has completely changed. So the traditional media having less and less money. They cut costs. In Polish media, the process is incredibly fast. We were talking about the situation in Sofia here. Yeah? We have the constant demonstration for 5 months. I haven't, maybe I read one article in Polish media about this, because nobody has money to send it. Nobody has money to send a reporter to.
Well, that's arguable.
Yeah, that's arguable. But, no, I used to work in last year's in Rzeczpospolitej. It's the second largest daily in Poland. Very important one. We have I've quit the job because I've changed the job. I've changed the profession. I'm not a journalist anymore. Because I understood what way the world is going. They don't have any one foreign correspondent now. At the home desk, they employ 7 reporters, the second largest Polish daily. Poland is the country of 38 million people. And it was one of the 2 most serious newspapers. The same is happening in other papers. So the message is bad. And if we are talking about the rules and bills, how to regulate, don't talk about this, because we are talking about the past. This world is passing away. What do you want to regulate? You want to regulate how fast the newspaper and TV stations will die? They are dying. Of course, the Washington Post is dying not that fast as Rzeczpospolita, but it is dying. Nobody understands why this guy from Amazon has bought it, yeah? Because he had
some media may be dying, but journalism is not dying as such. So
I argue, in my opinion, it is dying profession. Because if you want to work, you must somebody to pay you. And you must somebody that expects you to work, to write serious articles, serious analysis.
I will interrupt you because your dose of pessimism is killing me. So I would like to.
Talking about freedom.
Yes. I would like to open for questions. I guess that all of our really. That's optimism now. Well, I didn't see who was first, but I think that was the lady in green. And I would really ask you to say who you are. Yes, just present yourself. And be short, please.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dania Bashir, and my question is directed to Mariya. In Libya, for the past 42 years, has had no independent media. After the revolution, we had more than 20 private channels, all in my opinion, have lost the faith of the Libyan public due to falsifying the news or over-exaggerating because there is no accountability. So what people have done is turn to social media, and specifically Facebook, to start to spread the news, because they can't depend on the TV channels, and we still haven't basically created any sort of actual independent media. And the problem with Facebook is people are spreading rumors, and this is creating chaos. So should it be regulated or not? And if so, how? Thank you.
Ако ви звучи успокоително, with pleasure. Ако ви звучи успокоително това, което чухте от Игор, не само вие сте минали или минавате по този път, навсякъде е трудно. Обаче, както виждате, има светлина. И светлина в тунела действително имат. Проблема с Фейсбук е огромен. Той е огромен, както вече казах, не само за Либия, той е огромен и за Европа. Има държави в Европа, аз ви казах, че ние в Европа, за съжаление, до този момент все още не сме стигнали до нивото, но предстои... Айде ще ви кажа още една новина, която обаче е в аванс. Още не се е случила. През ноември ние, държавите членки на Европейския съюз, се събираме, за да учредим една европейска платформа за регулация на европейското медийно пространство. Тоест вървим в тази посока. Една от основните ни теми е регулацията на интернет. Защото има държави в Европа, които регулират и задължават провайдерите, специално Фейсбук, с определени ангажименти, които са свързани с свободата на медиите от една страна, свободата на словото имам предвид, но толерантност. Държи се сметка за защита на децата, нещо много важно. Тук сблиза, разбира се, въпроса с порнографията, разпространяване на порнографско съдържание и така нататък, но нещо, което е много важно, това е разпространяването на така нареченото слово на омразата. В България дори сме измислили термин, който се казва хейтъри. Хора, които пишат неща, насочени, заредени единствено само с злоба и омраза, насочени срещу други хора, само и само за да могат да поставят под въпрос или за да атакуват определена информация.